Alright, hello and welcome to Motley Gaming. This is going to be the Gman Season 6, Div 5 and Div 4 Week 1 review. And I'm just going to jump into it. Sorry this is so late in the week, you guys. It's finals week for me here, and Ken and I reached out to each other and we're going to try and get this done right at the rollover. But he had some issues with his headset, and then I've had some issues with my mic. Got that all sorted out, so hopefully it'll be both of us back for the Week 2 recap. But for right now, it's just going to be me doing this Week 1 recap. So thanks for joining along, and let's just go ahead and jump into the recap, shall we? So, starting out with Season 6, Div 5. Gonna roll over. Sorry for the spoilers, everyone. But let's go ahead and take a look at everything that happened in Week 1. So we've got the 3 bye weeks for Innsmouth Inchworms, Dead Game, and Is This a Furry Team? And it looks like Mighty Reptiles against the Super High Elves in a close-fought 1-0 win. Looks like Adam Banks with the MVP here, and just a lineman with the MVP for Elves. Although I don't necessarily have a huge problem getting MVPs on the linemen for Elves, just because as an Elf player, your lineman can do a lot more than what most other teams' linemen can do. So getting, blotch up on linemen makes them pretty tough to deal with. Let's take a look. Yeah, looks like the injuries managed to pay off for our Saurus coach, our Lizardman coach. I should say, decent amount of SSBP all around for both teams, so that's nice. That's very nice. Good job to the Lizardman coach. Moving along. 1-0 Mad Stompers win over those Slippin' Gits. That's the Chaos Doors versus the other Lizardman coach, yes? Yes. And looks like that was another tight fought battle. Yeah, looks like the Chaos Doors managed to get a lot more blocks in, which will, of course, end up in more KOs and more injuries. Yeah, just the 29 blocks, and it's always tough. I feel like Chaos Dwarves actually have a better early chance against Lizardmen than even regular dwarves do, because you do have a ton of block, but then you also have, if you started out with the two bull centaurs, then you've got some strength 4 pieces that can help with the strength advantage that the Lizardmen usually start out with. So that's pretty nice for the Mad Stompers. Good start to the season for them. Of course, this is early on, so how these first games go definitely is not necessarily going to be how the season ends up. Bane of the Living against Chaos Monks. You've got one of the strong early game teams getting a win over one of the teams that definitely wants to get some level ups before it's really super effective. So not a huge surprise there. Looks like Bane of the Living got the level up on the Ghoul Carrion Snatcher. So that's always nice. Probably, unless you get some sort of doubles, probably going to get Blodge or Dodge Wrestle on this Ghoul. That's always nice. Looks like this is a really close fought match as well. Wow. Looks like a lot of passes happened as well. So, wow, that's an impressive number of passes, I must admit. Yeah. And at the end of the game, similar number of removals and everything. So if I get a chance, I might actually go in and take a look at this match, because it looks like it was a hard-fought match, and 3 passes between the two teams not necessarily known for their passing. That's a recipe for an exciting match. And then finally, last match, Drop Dead Gorgeous. They're my pick to win versus Ken's pick to win the division this year. Looks like Drop Dead Gorgeous got the win to start out, the 2-0. And I believe our Necromantic team here is a little more leveled up than the Ragged Princes, so that might have helped. And oh yeah, that's a huge blocking difference between the two teams. So 5 KOs and an injury. That's 6 removals in a game. That's tough to come back from against any team, unless you're also getting removals. Of course, Wood Elves can pull off some BS and make things work, but yeah, that's a good amount of SPP towards the Necromantic team. They're getting a good start to this season, and Ragged Princes, bit of a rough start, but I believe there were a few levels already on this Drop Dead Gorgeous, so that's a bit rough. Bit of a rough start, but keep plugging away. You might get it. What else? Definitely, as you get those ridiculous catchers and war dancers leveled up, you can pull off some wacky hijinks. So let's see where that leaves us within this week. Unfortunately, some of the results in here are probably already confirmed, so this is going to be a bit of a week 1, week 2 recap almost, but I'll try and keep everything to week 1 as best I can. So let's look at some of the teams that played. So we've got Mighty Reptiles and Super High Elves. Looks like Super High Elves already played their week 2 match. Yeah, oh, and then they went up against Drop Dead Gorgeous, who are just kind of lighting up the scoreboard, it looks like. Yeah, and the SPP and MVPs have all seemed to spread themselves out for the High Elves, so they're having a bit of a tough time getting going. Looks like they've got that Apothecary, which is pretty big, and I don't think any of their players have died, which is huge. So just as soon as they start getting those players leveled up, I think things might start turning around in the season for them. Also, getting those catchers with that extra movement can be huge. That being said, bit of a rough start, but High Elves, never really count them out. They can be decently bashy, and they can be decently elf BSy, so not too bad, not too bad. And then Drop Dead Gorgeous, they played their week 2 game already. But let's take a look at them, coached by Crow Dog. And yeah, I got a werewolf with a level up. Oh, the Mighty Blow on the white. That's really good. He's got a couple of flesh golems that just need an MVP on Peter Agony and one more injury for Barnabas the Needy, or one more casualty inflicted, and he'll be doing well. Yeah, this is a strong-looking team. This is a pretty good start, and then starting the zombie with Dirty Player, that's always going to be good. I might Necromantic is one of those teams that you can kind of justify picking up Kick on at least one player. So perhaps the next zombie that levels up, because those werewolves have the movement to punish other opposing coaches on a blitz. So possibly we might see Kick next. I'm not entirely sure. But this is a strong-looking team, and they're 2-0 so far, so good job to Drop Dead Gorgeous. Looks like Ragged Princes have taken a bit of a beating. But all you really care about... Yeah, it looks like they did take a beating in Week 1, because they still haven't played their Week 2 match yet. But all you really care about is your War Dancers. So as long as your War Dancers are still in it. Skeletor's cousin Pete, he's my pick for Gutted or Glory, and looks like he... Let's see if that was just a miss next game, or... Yeah, just a miss next game, so far, looks like we're leaning for him to be in the Gutted camp. But you never know, especially with what else he could have a strong end to the season, / a strong middle. And you've got... Oh, that's nice. They're just missed next games, so his team is not completely gutted so far. Yeah, no level up so far, so that's a bit rough. I think the next pickup for King Can is probably going to be an Apothecary, because that's so important with them. And if his War Dancers ever do take a tough hit, you want to have that Apothecary ready to keep them from dying. All the unleveled linemen can be treated kind of like fodder. So as rough as this looks, you're Wood Elves, so you can still pull off some crazy stuff. Plus, now with three Wood Elves out, you have 3 loners to put on the line to take all those hits. So that's kind of nice. Look on the bright side, right? Let's move on to some of the other guys in Div 5 from Week 1. So Mighty Reptiles got the win over Super High Elves. Let's take a look at them. Mighty Reptiles. Yes, they're the coach that started with the Croxagore. And they're looking decent. They've got a Skink with an injury, Connie Moreau. Ooh, a Niggle on a Skink. Probably gonna want to kick that Skink, just so he can't take up SPP. And I think, I'm not entirely sure, but I think a third reroll is almost more important than replacing that Skink right away, so you could probably get away with a loner Skink for a few matches. All of your Saurus, all of your Saurai are still intact, and that's the really important thing. Not a ton of SPP on the Saurai just yet. Unfortunately, Adam Banks hogged the MVP. But starting out with with Lizardmen is always, not always, but usually pretty slow going. So getting those level ups on these guys is gonna be priority. Looks like you got Guy Germain with the touchdown there. It'll be interesting to see how quickly this team develops. Very, very interesting. Back to day 1, we had the Slipping Gets Loose to the Mad Stoppers. And, oh nice, earned a level up on his Bull Centaur. That's always nice. Dave Batista. Oh, that was Ken's pick for Gutted or Glory. And he's already picked up an MVP. Good on you, Dave Batista. I look forward to seeing him hogging many more MVPs. So let's take a look at the team that lost real quick. They're not looking too bad. No, not bad at all. I believe, looks like they lost a Skink, and it might have been, yeah, looks like they just lost a Skink, but it wasn't the Skink that got the MVP. I think the next pickup, honestly, would be a Croxagore for this team, just because Croxagores are, you know, having 7 strength 4+ pieces with high armor is absolutely everything for the Lizardmen. So I think the Croxagore should be the next pickup for this team. Yeah, almost definitely. But it is nice to see Batista pick up that MVP. Add a little drama to Ken and I's picks from the start of the season. And then the other teams that played, Bane of the Living and Chaos Monks. Bane of the Living, how are they doing? Coached by General Marauder. And did they get any level ups? Yes, they were the one with the MVP on the Ghoul. So Blodge on the Ghoul, I cannot fault that pickup. It's going to be interesting to see how many Ghouls General Marauder ends up deciding to take on. That extra movement is always nice, but the armor value 7 and the lack of regen can really be tough. I'd also like to see if Marauder is planning on picking up a skeleton as kind of a safety player, or even just a higher movement player. Like Ken and I said last week, we like to go the 4 zombie 1 skeleton start, just to give you that little bit of extra movement, because, you know, on Undead you do have some issues with movement. 4 SPP on Kronar the First, the Mummy, that is huge. Getting those mummies leveled up can really be the difference on an Undead team, so that's really nice for Marauder. This team's coming along very nicely. It'll be nice to see how they develop over the season. They're looking really strong. So if you're wondering why I'm kind of ignoring the day 2 results, I kind of want to go over them with Ken, bounce thoughts off of him and everything. So that's why I'm kind of ignoring those. Let's take a look at how the Chaos Monks did after that loss of theirs. They've got a Beastman out. Let's see if that was a niggle. It was a niggle, so he's probably going to want to kick that Beastman. But yeah, I might go with the Apothecary before replacing the Beastman, because he does have some SPP, especially on those Chaos Warriors. Those Chaos Warriors are coming on really nicely. Looks like he got injuries with 2 of them and a touchdown with the 3rd. Bloody Monk. Oh, a casualty and a pass. Oh, dang. That's impressive. Oh, that's right. This was the match with the 3 passes completed. I'm fairly sure that must have been a vanity pass. And if that's the case, good on you for getting that pass working. Really nicely done. Yeah, this. I realize Chaos Chris lost the first match, but that's kind of expected with Chaos. You're not going to be starting out super strong, and the sooner you can get the level ups, especially on your Chaos Warriors, the sooner Chaos can become an oppressive mess to fight against. Nice. Very, very nice. And then we've got the last match that was an actually played match, and I've already checked that. Let's see what the SPP was like for the Inchworms and the... that's an interesting issue with my game client. What was the SPP like? So they got 8 SPP on Cthulhu. Pastor got 3, Herbert West got 5. That's a good amount of... already with a level up on the Nurgle. Let's see what he took. Leveling up that Nurgle. Once again, another team that's gonna take some time to boost up the rankings. Very nice. He's picked up a second Pestigore. I like it very much. And he's even kind of forgoing early power with extra rerolls for a higher chance of the MVPs getting on players that matter. So, picked up Pestigore rather than saved up for the third team reroll. That might hurt him in the short term, but long term I think that's gonna get him into the stronger Nurgle team. Turn him into a stronger Nurgle team faster. So it's kind of an interesting trade-off, but I like the trade-off personally. No doubles on the Beast of Nurgle, so he picked guard. That's great. You just kind of want the Beast of Nurgle to sit around being a big lump that is very hard to deal with. Sit him next to a bunch of your opponent's players and make it really hard to get away from him. That's really nice for him. And so dead game. What kind of SPP did he get? He got League of Legends, Takedown Red Saber. He got a Blitzraw and a Tomb Guardian with SPPs. That's really good. Let's take a look at his team roster. So Maisie, yeah, you got some SPP on some good pieces, setting them up pretty strong. Yeah, all SPP on positionals is kind of what you want. So got 3 SPP on one of the Tomb Guardians, 5 on the other. That's really nice because you want to start getting them skills that are worthwhile. So the SPP that's really well set up. So he's on the cusp of a few level ups with his players. That's looking pretty good. And finally, is this a furry team? The other necromantic squad. And oh dang. Oh yes. So he already had a game played from the preseason. That's right. The Nick dude already did. So he's got to level up on a ghoul, level up on a werewolf. Picked pretty good skills for both. Yeah, our necromantic teams are looking pretty strong so far. Unfortunately, got a decent amount of SPP on its zombies, which, you know, is okay, but you'd really rather have them on your positionals, and these flash golems, I know from personal experience, they take a ton of time to level up, so you'd really hope to get at least some SPP on them. So it's unfortunate that they didn't get that, but so far, this necromantic squad is looking pretty dang strong. So very nice. That's going to go ahead and wrap up Div 5. Sorry it's going to be such a quick recap this week, folks. This is finals week for me, so my brain is a bit scattered, and life is tough right now, but I'll be finished with finals in the next few days, and I'll hopefully have a little more time to watch some of your games. I'm really looking forward to that, actually. So, moving on to week 2, is this a furry team already? Looks like Fire Bricklayers. Oh, that looks to be a new team within our division. So welcome, Bayoric Bricklayers. That's a new Lizardman team. I hardly even noticed. My goodness. And this is an interesting build for a Lizardman team. Definitely not going to outbash much anyone. So 4 Saurus, 1 Croxagore, 6 Skinks. One of which was already picked up an injury. Looks like it's just an MNG, so that's not too bad. An Apothecary and a reroll. So, thanks for joining us, Ilgoth, first of all. Glad to have you in the league. My recommendation to you would be to pick up as many the rest of your Saurus as quick as, the rest of your Saurai as quick as possible. That is pretty huge. Getting MVPs on your Saurai is really important. And so having as many Saurai as possible to increase the chances of getting those MVPs and getting those level ups on them early on is really what you're shooting for. That being said, you ran into is this a furry team first thing, and that's always going to be tough because the necromantic team, their werewolves have the claw to get through your armor 9s. That's always going to be a tough matchup. But get those Saurai as quick as possible. Those are the things that make you tough to deal with, unless you're going for kind of a gimmick team with as many skinks as possible, because that can also be full of a lot of fun shenanigans. Skinks with their stunty ability, if you can get like plus agi on them, it's impossible to contain a Lizardman team. So it'll be interesting to see how this team develops. If you're going for the gimmick team with a bunch of skinks, hats off to you. That's going to be awesome, and I look forward to seeing how that goes. But if you're going for as competitive a team as possible, I'd definitely pick up the last two Saurai before anything else. Most definitely. All right. So with that, let's go ahead and look ahead to week 2, which we are in at the moment. We've got the Chaos Monks with a bye week, so that'll be nice because they'll get some extra money for the concede from the bye week team, and that might help them replace that niggled Beastman. That's huge. And then the Ragged Princes, oh, that's really nice, because they are the team with the 3 Miss Next games, and they're going to get all of them back from this bye week. That is huge. That's going to be really nice, and that's going to help them get some more SPP on their actual players that they want to keep around. Then we have Mighty Reptiles versus Dead Game. Mighty Reptiles, that's the that is the Lizardman team with the Croxagore. That could be a bit tough, as Dead Game has the strength to contest and the speed to catch your skinks. So hopefully, with some of these bash matchups, it's really just a positional battle. So they'll have to see if Mighty Reptiles can protect his skinks well enough, or if Dead Game can get to them. And either way, if one of your main bashing pieces, the mummies or the Saurai, go down, if one high strength beast goes down, that can really tilt the drive and the match in favor of one team. So those players do have high armor, but you never know if you take enough hits, or if a lucky hit comes on early on, that can really decide the outcome of the game in a bash matchup. And then finally, the last game that has not been played is Bane of the Living versus Slipping Kids. That's going to be the other... Oh, no, Dead Game is the Khemri team. I think I like Khemri. My apologies for the mix-up there. I think I like Khemri in this one. The 4 strength 5 pieces makes it pretty tough for the Sorai to get good positioning. I think Mighty Reptiles is going to have a tough time protecting his skinks. However, if he does play a good positional game, you never know. He could slip those skinks through, and if those skinks manage to get in behind Dead Game's lines, he's going to have a hard time catching it. Okay, and then we've got Bane of the Living versus Slippin' Gids. And Bane of the Living, I think I like Bane of the Living in this matchup. I'm not 100% sure on this, but I think they've got enough pieces that are just fast enough to catch those skinks, and enough block, which kind of negates the fact that the skinks have, I mean, obviously tackle's the skill that negates that they have, the skinks have tackle, but it's, when going after a skink with block and the skink doesn't have block or wrestle, it's the same statistical probability for a knockdown. So I think I like Bane of the Living in that matchup. Slippin' Gids I don't really think his Sorai have the levels to compete yet with the powerhouse that is early game Undead. Alright, so that finally wraps up Div 5. Let's go ahead and move on to Div 4, shall we? And look at what happened. So, quick rundown. We had Dangerous Lizards, Lizardmen, 2-0ing, Villains do it best. Pempleforder, Drink Air, 2-0'd Halloween Haddock. I believe that was a concession victory. I'm hoping that it was just a rough week to get things, to get this matchup scheduled. And hopefully we'll see Halloween Haddock back within Halloween Haddock and Grey 007, because I really like his names. I think it's a great theme for an Undead team. So hopefully we'll see him back, and that was just a rough week of scheduling for him. So Pempleforder got the concede victory, and looks like he got some decent MVPs, both on positionals. The Yeti getting that 5 SPP is huge, and the Runner getting 5 SPP is also pretty big. Star Rats, 2-1'd, No Doubt and Failure. And, trying to see what, oh, that makes sense. I was looking to see what the injury was, but looks like it was just a miss next game, and No Doubt has already played his Week 2 match, so that makes sense. So Star Rats, No Doubt and Failure. That looks like a pretty decent matchup. Yeah, Star Rats, they got their own share of chaos and injuries too. Dang, already and inflicted a kill. That is one of the... That's hugely bashy. 20 blocks, and 6 of them were... Oh, I think they count one of the injuries as a kill. So 5 of those... 25% of those blocks were removals. That is huge for the Rats. And that's really bad luck for our Chaos Dwarf team. Yeah. Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. But it also looks like No Doubt and Failure just wasn't able to get as many he got 7 removals, which is big, but when you make 54 blocks, that's kind of expected to get at least that many removals. So looks like the Rats were able to pull just enough BS that Rats are known for. against the Chaos Dwarves. Very impressive. And then we've got Rockomotive Gitstoppers with a close 1-0 victory over the Nurgle team Erwindor's Chance. Decent number of armor breaks on both sides, as is kind of expected, especially early on. Just the sheer number of blocks that Norse usually gets them ahead in number of players on the field. And although it looks like Nurgle also gave as good as it got with 6 KOs and an injury, it's a bloody looking game. Those are the type of matches that I like to see. Good on ya. Good on both coaches for getting a nice beat 'em up match in. I really enjoy those. And yeah, looks like a good match. And then we have Blue in the Face versus 7 Circles. Blue in the Face being our Wood Elf coach, of course, 7 Circles being Chaos. That with the 1-1 tie. Kind of, frankly, unexpected for the Chaos team. They do start out so slow. Nice. It's very nice that he gets an MVP on the Chaos Warrior, and almost not too great that the War Dancer got an MVP in this match, because as a Wood Elf coach, your War Dancers are going to level up naturally anyway. You kind of want to spread the SPP around so you don't have two War Dancers and then just everyone else. Yeah, looks like a pretty decent match. As expected, it looks like it was a lot of the Wood Elves running away and holding off the Chaos team, while the Chaos is kind of trudging along after them, trying to get blocks in. Decent number of removals for the Chaos team. Yeah, very good match there. And then we have the high TV value Dark Elves versus the Cowardly Crew. Oh, that was the Cowardly Crew is the bye-week team. I had forgotten about that for a second. And got a couple of level ups from those MVPs. That's nice for the Darkstar second liners. And finally, we had the Society of Dead Poets, Kembri falling to Korotora, Necromantic, in a good old 1-0 grinded out victory for the Necromantic team. And Necromantic, yeah, they can be tough to deal with, especially for high armor value teams, because they really, bashy teams really rely on not getting their pieces removed from the pitch as often, and that claw can absolutely wreck your game plan. Although a similar number of pitch removals, Society of Dead Poets only got 4 KOs and 3 injuries, guaranteeing players don't come back for the Necromantic side is really good. That's probably the story of that game. Very nice, very nice. All right, so let's see where that leaves left the teams going into week 2. So after week 1, Dangerous Lizards versus Villains do it best. Dangerous Lizards, they get new level ups. They did not, but they've got a decent spread of SPP. They've got 2 SPP on Ablesaurus and 2 on Giganotosaurus. That's good. A pretty good start. What is with all the skinks hogging MVPs on these Lizardmen teams? That's kind of rough. You really are hoping to get those MVP on your Sorai. Leveling up skinks is never really a huge issue. Whereas leveling up your Sora is what really turns you into a powerhouse of a team. So that's a bit rough, but it's a good start so far. Let's hope for like an MVP on any of the Sorai that get injuries and start turning this team into something dangerous. Of course, they've already got that 2-0 win, so that's pretty big for them. Villains do it best. They lost in that one, and if I recall, they had quite a few removals against them. Yes. So, bit of a rough start for Dwarves. Sometimes armor value 9 just doesn't hold up like it should, you know? That's a niggling injury to his Troll Slayer, so that's really rough. Luckily, no SPP on that Troll Slayer yet, but he's going to want to replace him pretty much ASAP, just because niggling injuries this early on. Oh, and Skeletor was also Ken's pick for Gutted or Glory, so it looks like those Gutted or Glory picks have really caused a lot of players some harm so far. But that's kind of why we did that. Pick players that might get targeted or might turn out to be really good players in this division. Peppleforder, Drink Rare versus Halloween Haddock. Halloween Haddock had the concede, so not really worth looking into because nothing is going to have changed necessarily. So Peppleforder. Alright, they've got a lot of money. A decent number of a decent amount of SPP on some good pieces. That's really good. Excuse me. I think up next for them is probably going to be the Apothecary, and then also a second runner. But I'd definitely go Apothecary first. That's really important, especially on Norse, because your pieces are so fragile. But yeah, this team is looking good so far. Looking really, really good. And moving on to Star Rats versus No Doubt and Failure. No Doubt and Failure had a rough game against them. Star Rats. Oh, they got the Agi down on the Storm Vermin, which is not that big of a deal. But I'd actually kick that Storm Vermin just because there's no SPP on him and you can afford it. Got the double and went for Horns on a Line Rat. That's an interesting pick, and my goodness, that looks cool. Skaven Horns look really cool. Can we just say that? Yeah, that's pretty awesome. But, that being said, I don't necessarily agree with that. On your Line Rats, whenever you get doubles, I might go Guard, honestly. Just so you can get some of that bashing in and hopefully protect some of your other pieces from some bashing. That being said, that is a fun pickup, so I can't necessarily blame you for picking the Horns. And then you've got plus movement on a Gutter Runner. All he needs is sprint, and you've got a good one-turn touchdown threat. So, everybody in the division, watch out for Lair the Lethal, because he's gonna be he's gonna be a handful. My goodness, rough. Also, the 4-team rerolls. I believe Ken and I harped on this before, but Gordsos, I would say that's probably a bit much. That's adding a ton to your team value. That could probably be better served on like another piece. That team reroll, that's counts as 60,000 in team value towards your team. Your total team value when comparing up against other players. That could be like an extra Line Rat that you could bring in if one of your line rats gets, or if any player gets injured or knocked out and doesn't come back in, so that you can be as close to full strength as possible, because that's always going to be a problem for rats. So I might drop that 4th reroll if I were you. And then back to week 1. They went up against No Doubt and Failure, who have already played their week 2 game, but let's go ahead and see how they're coming along. And yeah, they are coming along pretty well. Level up on I only follow orders. My pick for Good at Gloria was Will I Be Famous, and he's coming along pretty well. Got block, break, tackle on the Bull Centaur. Looks like we might have a bit of a ball hunter on this Bull Centaur, which is good. With the, wow, 2 really well-leveled Bull Centaurs. I might go Sure Hands on the other Bull Centaur, because I know a lot of Chaos Dwarf coaches like to have the Centaurs as their ball carriers. So that might be what I personally would go with next. And actually a really good start with all these Chaos Dwarf blockers too. It's pretty clear that No Doubt and Failure took quite the beating up against the rats, which it's pretty surprising, quite honestly. But they're looking pretty strong going into it. 3 Chaos Dwarf blockers with levels already. As soon as he gets doubles on one of them, I'd imagine he's probably going to go with some claw in there, which just makes them so disgusting to deal with. And a hobgoblin with dirty player. That's important. Foul away. Really nice. I'm liking the way this team is shaping up. This could be a dark horse to win the division, I think. Quite honestly. Then we've got Rockomotive Git Stompers with the 1-0 victory over Irwindor's Chance. Let's take a look at the Git Stompers, shall we? They're looking to be leveling up fairly quickly. Yeah, you got Sure Hands and Dodge. One of those skills on each of your runners, which is looking good. A bunch of pieces ready to level up as soon as they get much more SPP. He's got 2 SPP on one of his Ulfwerners, which is huge. As soon as Balrock gets an MVP or maybe 2 more entries, he's going to be off and running. And yeah, right around, like, once these Ulfwerners level up, this Norse team is going to be really hard to handle. I'd not be surprised to see quite a few serfs and all that fun craziness that Norse can get up to. And moving on with Irwindor's Chance. Where'd they go? There they are. Let's see what kind of levels they have up. Beast of Nurgle is leveled up. Nice, got the guard, that's very good. I imagine Stand Firm is probably going to be next unless he can get block. Let's see how he's doing. He's already got 2 level ups on Rotters, which is a little bit unfortunate. You kind of want to let these Rotters die a bit. But that being said, getting that block going can really help his team advance. He's got 2 Nurgle Warriors with some SPP on them already, which is really good. It's very important getting those Nurgle Warriors up and into some tough to deal with roadblocks can be really important. We've got the Pestigore, the Rotters. Yeah, I think his next pickup is probably I'm not so sure I love the 4-team rerolls, especially with Nurgle. They're so expensive. I would have probably preferred another Pestigore before picking up a 4th reroll. And honestly, I'm personally, as a coach, I never like going above 3 rerolls. If I really want a 4th reroll, I usually get it with leader on a player, but even then, oftentimes I use the opportunity to get leader on a player to drop a reroll. But I can also be a fairly conservative coach, so many coaches do enjoy 4 rerolls, but just one of those rerolls being like leader on a team. So I'm not sure if that's what you're looking for. Anyway, that being said, team is still coming along pretty nicely. Then we've got Blue in the Face versus 7 Circles. Kind of a surprise tie. Blue in the Face, where'd you go? There you are. There'll be Celts to play. I do like the theme of this team, I must say. I hate complimenting elves, but I do like the theme. Let's take a look at this line, man. Just a mid-mix game. Got some some SPP moving along with that was an MVP on the War Dancer. A little bit unfortunate there because you do want to get a bunch of your other elves developed as well, so that especially getting dodge on pieces early on can keep them from dying quite so often. But not too bad. And we've got 7 Circles. Let's take a look at how they're doing. And yeah, I mean, those week 1 blues a little bit, not a ton of level ups, or not any level ups even, but he did start out with the Minotaur, which is takes some pizzazz, and he's already got some SPP on the Minotaur. The MVP on a Chaos Warrior is really nice. Chaos Warriors, as soon as you get a ball handling Beastman, it could be tough to get the Chaos Warriors leveled up, although not nearly so hard as like the Nurgle Warriors or like Black Orcs or stuff like that, since these Chaos Warriors still do have 5 movement. But it's nice to have his Chaos Warriors set to continue developing. Be interesting to see how this team shapes up. He doesn't have any SPP on his Beastmen yet, which honestly is kind of nice. Your Beastmen are eventually going to be your scoring threats, most likely. So develop your strength pieces that take a while to level up, especially since they don't have Mighty Blow or Claw or any of those murder abilities yet. Darkstar Second Lighters with the concede win over our bye-week team. Let's see how they're lining up. I think they may have played their week 2 game already. Yeah, they had to have played their week 2 game already. Lost a movement on one of his wrestle linemen. That's okay. I mean, not great. As soon as some of his other linemen start developing, might want to kick him. Oh, go and leap wrestle. So, looks like a cage diver on this lineman. Very interesting. He's got block up on his Witch Elf. Both of his, 2 of his blitzers have blodge already. He's got another blitzer well on his way to a level up. And he's already getting level ups on his line elves. So that's pretty good. This team's looking pretty dangerous. And having that cage busting threat can really affect the way coaches play against you. I know a lot of elf coaches wait to find the piece that they get plus Agi on to get leap on that player then. That can take a while though. So I'm actually pretty okay with this choice of you know, getting the leap right away and having the threat of a cage diver. Very ball-centric move on this line elf. I like it. I like it a lot. So he's already got a ball hawk. And then Kurotara with the window over Society of Dead Poets. Society of Dead Poets. Khemri can be just so slow that it's tough to catch people, but they do have the dodge thrower, and he's developing quite nicely, my goodness. And then, there's a Tomb Guardian with an entry, huh? Looks like it's just a next game, so that's nice, especially considering he definitely did not regen that, and the decay didn't turn into something worse. So that's, I mean, it sucks to be down a Tomb Guardian for a match, but it's good that the Tomb Guardian didn't get something worse than just a missed next game. And you've got 5 SPP on Arto Maleri, which is really good. And then you've got a Dirty Player Skeleton. I love Dirty Player, it's a great skill. And Dante Alighieri is on his way to leveling up. So Khemri's gonna take a little while to get where it needs to be to really try and start dominating matches, but this team's developing. It's definitely on its way. Then finally we have we're gonna take a look at Kurotora. I believe Kurotora was Ken's picked him in the division. There we go. And I do like this team as well. He's already got both werewolves leveled up. He's got block on a flesh golem. That's huge. Getting those flesh golems leveled up early, that's really nice. Mighty Blow Tackle on a white, Guard on a white. Oh man, this is a really well-built necromantic team. And his werewolves are pretty close to leveling up again, so if he can get Mighty Blow on one of them, watch out the rest of Division 4. My goodness. But it's already a very strong-looking team. With a ghoul, a bunch of zombies. Yeah, I would be nervous going up against this team. You never know when Claw wants to wreck your day, especially considering I'm mostly a bash coach. So yeah, there we go. That is all of the matches from Week 1 in Division 4. Sorry if the format of all this has been a bit of a mess today. I'm just kind of trying to get this in while I have some spare time between studying for finals and everything. So thanks for sticking with me. Ken will be back for the Week 2 recap, so we'll look forward to having him there. Thanks everyone for being a part of the Rebel. Thanks to all you Gman Div 4 and 5 coaches from across the pond. And I'll look forward to doing another recap for you guys next week. Thanks again. This is Motley signing out.